Hello everyone. On this video I want to explain a little bit about illustration. So this is in placing pictures, shapes, icons, 3D models, SmartArt charts and screenshots in Microsoft Office 365. So this is the area that I'm talking about in the ribbon of Word in Microsoft Office 365. So with this group of items, which are called illustrations, you can do things like this, and this. So I will go over shortly about pictures, shapes, icons, 3D, smart charts, the smart art charts and screens. So each one of these items here will open up a different part of your ribbon. So basically, when you go in and when you open up, when you insert and click on a picture, then you're going to get this additional part of your ribbon. Right here, you see how there's nothing after Acrobat? Well, when you click inside a picture, you're going to get this additional things that you can do with Microsoft. Also, if you go in and insert a shape and then you want to alter it, this is what it's going to look like whenever you go in to under shapes. Also, if you add an icon, you're going to get this right here, okay? And you'll see this additional item. Now, when you go to SmartArt, SmartArt Design, which is this one here, you actually will get two different items in your ribbon. Same thing when you go in and add your chart design, you'll get two different items, and we're going to go over those. So, and then on the last one, when you go to screenshots, of course you're going to get your picture format, which we already discussed. So let's go over this, because there's I want to make this a small video. I always try, but there's so much things. I don't even talk 1/10 of what I want to talk about. But so let's go and let's say that you wanted to do something like this right here. Okay. Well, first let me start with this. Okay. So because I know I'll go out of my zone if I don't do this one first, this one. So let's start with pictures. So if you wanted to insert a picture into into Word, there's a lot of things you need to consider. So if I go in here, I can look for a picture in this device. In other words, let's say I went into my insurance folder and I went into here, let's get a picture. Let's say this picture. When you hit insert, wherever you had it selected, it's going to push everything to the right. That's why this looks like this. So let's hit Control Z. Okay, so now here we're gonna go here, create a new page, and then I'm just gonna add some text. So let me go in here and say equal random. I'm gonna say 30 sentences with 4 paragraphs per sentence, and hit enter. Whoa, I did something wrong. Oh, I forgot to put equals in here. Enter. Okay, so that created some text for me, right? So If I click here, let me get a double page so you can see. So if I click here, I go insert, picture, this device, and I pick any picture. Okay, so let's pick this picture here, and I hit insert. You saw all the text went into the next page. Now if you go to the bottom right hand corner, this will uniformly reduce the image. If you use this this dot here, look, it'll stretch it. Control Z. If you use this one, it'll stretch it. So you always want to use the ones in the corner. I don't care if you use this one, or this one. The corner ones do uniform enlargement, where the ones in the center will skew it. They'll whichever direction you're going. So you see how this image went to the right? Now, if I click on this icon here and click on the first icon here, well actually let's click on this first one here. You see how nothing happened, right? If you click here, you see what it did? It wrapped around the image. Okay, so if I click on this one here, you can't see the subtle difference because there's nothing to the left, to the right, or to the bottom of it. But if I get this image and I move it to the right, you see how it's going back. Now it's going around the whole image. Okay, now if I go in here, so let's say if I click on this one here, look what happens. All my text goes back, and this is flowing on top, so it doesn't have no effect to the text. So keep that in mind. Okay, that's for your pictures. Okay, I got a little piece of thing here that I want to make sure that I scratch off, because I want to talk about each one of these things. Okay, so let's go back to insert, pictures. Now we have stock photos. So if you click on this, you're going to have every one of these images that you're seeing right here, and there's several of them. Okay, and in addition to that, there's galleries that you can go into on the internet from Microsoft. Okay, so you can pick any image, and you click on it and you insert. Okay, now remember that text flowed over to the right. I can click here and put it on top of everything, then select this area, and you see I can move it anywhere the text doesn't wrap around, unless if I tell it to wrap around, and this is how you're going to tell it to wrap around. Okay, now wherever I use it, you see the text, it moves around. Okay, now that's your stock image. Let's go back into pictures, back to stock image. This time we're going to click on icons. You have several kind of icons that you can go, and if you like creating little things, this is nice. You can search for, let's say, a clown. You see, there's clowns. Let's say you want a car, and you have cars. Then you click on it, hit insert, and it'll place it. Remember, you want to, however you want it to affect your page, you have to play with this thing. Okay, so that's your icons. If you go to insert, pictures, you go to stock image, now you have cut out people. Now this is pretty cool because you can grab any one of these images that's under cut out pictures, and let's pick this one right here. Okay, I'm going to hit insert. Now we're going to go in here and tell you see how I told it to wrap around to the right and to the left of it, right? Now of course you wouldn't be able to read this real good this way, because they would have to read through here, jump over her head, and go out to this other side. The most practical way to do in something like this is by, let's say, selecting all the text, going into your layout, and let's create 2 columns. Now what the readers would do is they would read this column, right? They would read all of this, and then they would flip over to this other side and finish their sentence. And you can move it any way you want. Now another thing, let's say this is stock image, remember? So, let's say you put it right there, but you really wanted her to face the other direction. Remember we talked about there was some other additional tabs depending on where you selected on the image. So if I click on the image, I can double click, or I can just click right here. You see this page format? I can click on this thing and I can either rotate it, or I can flip her the opposite direction. In other words, I want her hand to be on this side. So I would go in here and rotate, flip horizontal. You see, I let go, flip horizontal. Now she's facing the other way. And so and it looks like the other way was better. It gave you more a better look. Okay, so in addition to that, and that's because I selected that way, you also still have that option of telling it just to go to the right hand side. And of course you would want to go in and select all your text and turn it back into one column. Okay, so images. So let's go back. Pictures, stock image. So we talked about cutout. Then we have stickers. Same thing. You can do a search for, and let's say you wanted a bee. There's all your bees. Flower. There's your flowers. Cat. Then you have all those different kinds of cats. So with this images, you have the same options. If you go in here, you see, if you select it right, it will. Now sometimes you might have a problem where, let's say you wanted only the image to come to the right, then you can go in here and select different settings where only the image would go to the right. So in this case, it's not going to let us because of the way that it's done, right? You would have to go in here and create a fake box in here and and you could push the image to the right. We're not going to do that, but it can be worked out. Okay, so this is your those images, right? So now let's go back to pictures, stock images. So those are your stickers. Now you have illustrations, and in illustrations you have like buses, you can insert. Same thing again, you could go in here and put the bus on top. Of course, you don't want to do that. Now, one thing you could do, let's say that you wanted that bus there, right? And now I'm going to distort the heck out of this, but I want to show you something. So what you want to do, what I like doing personally, is I like going in and cropping this thing where it's easier for me to maneuver. So look, I'm going to click on this item. Remember, graphic formats. I'm going to crop this thing here. Now be careful when you're cropping, because if you don't do this right, it's not going to crop properly. But so now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this to the top. I'm going to stretch it to the right. I'm going to stretch it all the way to the bottom. Okay, of course that image is not the same anymore, but that's not what this part of the lesson is for. What this lesson is for is I could go in here and on the fill, I could go in here, go to more fill colors. You see right here in this percentage, I'm going to put 20. Actually, I'm going to put 80. Okay, when I hit 80, look what happens. The bus is still there, but you can see the text. So I told that I want to see 80% of the text. So let's go back, and this time I'm gonna do it more. I'm gonna say 90, because I just want it faintly in the back. Yeah, maybe even 95. Okay. So I think, and I'll stop there. More fill options. This time I'm going to say 95. So it's going to be very, very light in the background. At that point, it's going to go gray, but you probably do it that way. And now that is an exaggeration. You wouldn't stretch an image like that, because obviously it's not going to look the same. I just wanted to give you, what options you have. Okay. Let's go back to pictures, stock images. We've already talked about all of those. Okay, now shapes. I have mine set different than what yours is gonna be. I do a lot of. I use this a lot because I teach a lot. Okay, and I'm always using this part. So I'll go in here and I will draw a box, and then I will go in here and insert a shape like an arrow pointing to, oh, excuse me, that's a wrong, no. So insert shape and arrow, I'll point to him, and I might go in here, select both of them at the same time, and change the the outline. I might make the weight bigger. Okay, you see how it's got bigger? And or I got more line options. I could do a double line, or a dotted line, right? And if you notice, mine went over the text, because that's how I usually use this particular. Now, yours is not going to be like this. Yours is going to look more like this. Because I've told mine to, every time I draw something, I want it to do this. Yours will look more like this. It's going to be, the box is going to be black. The fill is going to be solid white. Okay, oops. So let's go here. So the fill is going to be like a solid white. Okay, this is what yours is going to look like. You can go in and set your preferences. We're not going to talk about that because I got another video. I got so much to talk about. But you can go in and make Microsoft Office do what it wants, what you want it to do for you. This is how I have my Microsoft programmed. Okay, so now let's go in here, insert, shapes. So you have all kinds of icons that you can use. Like for instance, let's say you have this arrows, diamonds. Then you can go in here, insert, shapes, arrow. This is, no matter how, I don't care if I start this from the bottom or I start the other direction, is going to go up, because when I went in here and I select shape, I selected the one that's pointing up. So now I'm going to be the one, select the one that's pointing down. So even though I start from the bottom, it's still going to do, go the arrow down. Okay, so insert. Now here's some icons. So now we already talked about shapes. Now one thing you can also do, so check this out. So if you have a particular document that you do something all the time, I use this a lot. So I go in, I draw my, I insert a shape like a square, right? And I'm going to use this throughout the whole presentation when I'm trying to teach somebody, and I might have an arrow, but also actually that arrow would be like this. Look, I would be drawn, I would insert a text box, and that text box I would have to go in, of course I would have to go in here, change it to where it doesn't move the text. So I would go in, click here, click there, and I would change the text to a red. Now if I want to use this out over and over, and I don't want to have to copy, and let me change the border too. So let's go in here and change the border to red. Okay, and I'll make it thicker. Okay, so I like this, and this is where my text will go, right? And I want my text to be red also. Now I know I'm going to use this over and over and over. I can select that item, this item, this item, and let's move this over, because it depends on where you have it, where how it'll come in. So I'll put it right here. I'm going to go in here under insert. I'm going to go to pictures, shapes. I'm going to go all the way to the bottom. You see this new drawing canvas? Oops, excuse me. Am I losing it? Okay, let me see. Insert. Icons. Okay. Insert. Oh, pictures. Stock image. Oh my God, I'm losing it. So give me a second here. Shapes. I thought it was right here. Shapes. We're gonna skip that. But there's a way to save this. I'm losing it. I normally don't lose it, but on this one I did. So I'm gonna forget about that part because I got a lot to show you. Now let's go into the 3 model stuff. Okay, so let's say so here, let me, okay, I talked about shapes, I talked about icons. Now I want to talk about 3D models. Okay, so if I go in here and go to 3D models and stock models, you're going to have all this 3D stuff. So let's go in here and type car, and it's not showing cars. So let's go here and just oh, here I saw one I like right here, space. Okay, and I like this guy here. Now remember, this is a 3D model, so I'm going to click on it. I'm going to insert. Now at this point, and the same thing like all those other images, you can tell it to wrap around. You can go, on top or whatever you want. So let's go in here and bring this guy. Let's move him down here. I'm gonna hit Control X. That way when I come down here, right here, I'm gonna put him right in here, hit Control V. Now, I can make him large, small, and this also has, you have to worry about if you're gonna use the corner ones or the side ones. Because if I want to make him wider, of course I would go this way. See? So, but if I want to make uniformly enlarge it, you would click here. Now watch this. If I click here, now watch what I can do. See, I can go in here and put him any way I want inside this picture. So let's say that I like him like that. I could go in there, let's say I go in here and change that into a 2-column, and go in here, click, and have him wrap around like that. You could do that. Okay, this is what the 3D stuff is for. Okay, now let's talk about now, one thing I haven't talked about, and I don't want to go into too much of this, but you can do all kinds of things as far as laying out things. If you click on 3 model, you have all different kinds of things that you can do. Not just the model, but photos. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So let's say I had this image here. Okay. And then I had this image here. Now, and let's say that I wanted to align both of them. So watch this. She's back here, right? I want to align both of them, the heads to be on top. I can go in and go to my picture format. I can go in here and align to the top. Watch what happens. See, I align those two, not based on the image, based on the crop out. So if I wanted to make sure that those are going to be the same, of course you would want to come in here and you would want to crop it real close to his head and crop her real close. Because sometimes this crops the way they come in. You see how much difference, how much space it is from here to here? You would want to crop it to where you would have if you wanted to align something, you would want to crop it so that it would align. But we're not going to worry about that. Okay, so let me delete. There's a lot more to this than this. This is just the simple part of it. So let's go into insert, SmartArt. Okay, now we're going to talk about, we talked about 3D. Now we're going to talk about SmartArt. And so let's say that I had this design here that I want. You have all kinds of things, relationship, like genealogy. I think that's what this is. So let's say that I picked, or let's just go with list. It's probably going to be easier. List, and then you click here and you hit OK. It creates this thing. When you double click, you can go in here and type, car. You can go in here and type truck. You can go in here and put H2O, oops, or whatever. You can change those, right? So I just wanted to show you what those were. Insert, SmartArt. Now let's talk about charts. There's more to it than that, but I'm just going over this real fast. Chart. So let's say that you have all this. You want a pie, stack, sunburst, waterfall, funnel, or just your custom. So you click here and then you hit OK. Now it creates a chart. Now you're going to have Excel to alter it. Okay, for instance, let's enlarge this so you can see. If I double click, here, let's right click and let's edit data. Excel is going to come up, right? And if I want to change, see, you have series 1, 2, and 3, and category 1, 2, and 3. You got category 1, 2, 3, and here's your series. Okay, so you have your blue, orange, and gray. So let's say that on series 1, let's say that I didn't, my sales weren't at 4.3. Let's say that in category 1, all I sold was 4 on each. So you see those right there? They're all on this category 1. I sold everything 4, right? Or I can hit Control Z. Let's say in category 1, or let's go, let's say I wanted to change 4 tab 4. I did the same thing here, excuse me. So 4, return 4, return 4, return 4. Now you see all of those, except that one, are even. Now, charts, you can actually do a lot more than this with charts. You can go in here and add more series, more categories, because this is an Excel file. So you can turn this into whatever kind of chart you want, and then when you click here, it goes right here. So on this charts, it has the same characteristics as photos. You can left click and make it bigger or larger. Okay, it's going underneath there. There's a way to move all that. where both text would move. Okay, so let's delete that. So we're gonna go to insert. Okay, this is the last thing I'm gonna talk about. Screenshot. So let me open up another page on one of my monitors, and I'll go to YouTube and whatever comes up. So let me show you what this snapshot is. It depends on where you put your mouse. So look, I'm putting it right here. And if I click on this screenshot, all my monitors, I got 4 monitors, they're all gonna go gray. Okay, and you're gonna see this one go gray. This one is probably gonna go blank. So I'm gonna click here, and you see, actually, I can select which. If I want a snapshot of the whole monitor, I can click here, and it's going to give me that screen of that monitor. Or I can click here, and it's going to take a photo of that image. Or I can go screen clipping. If I click here, then everything turns gray, and I can go in and take left click, drag, and you see what it did? I didn't take the whole screen. I just took a section of it. Okay, this time I'm gonna do a insert snapshot. I'm gonna take a whole picture of it, of the image. Okay, well, this time I'm going to take a picture of this whole screen. So if I click here, see, it took a picture of the whole screen. Okay, guys, that's about it. There's a lot more to this. I just, I don't like to make my videos real long. Thank you for watching my videos. I hope this kind of helps you out a little bit. If you like my videos, subscribe to me, or at least give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Bye.